Hello everyone, welcome to the presentation 7 of group 3. There are 3 members in our group, Dung, Jae and Tuấn Thành. My name is Jae and I will be the first speaker. Let's move to chapter 33, aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Question 3 and question for review. List and explain the 3 reasons to aggregate demand curve slopes downward. The first reason is the price level in consumption, the wealth effect. A decrease in the price level raises the real value of money and makes consumers wealthier, which in turn encourages them to spend more. The increase in the consumer spending means a larger quantity of goods and services demanded. Conversely, an increase in the price level reduces the real value of money and makes consumers poorer, which in turn reduces consumer spending and the quantity of goods and services demanded. The second reason is the price level and investment, the interest rate effect. A lower level price reduces the interest rate, encourages greater spending on investment goods, and thereby increase the quantity of goods and services demanded. Conversely, a higher price level raises the interest rate, discourage investing spending, and decrease the quantity of goods and services demanded. The last reason is the price level and net exports, the exchange rate effect. When a fall in the price level causes interest rates to fall, the real value of dollar declines in foreign exchange markets. This depreciation stimulates net exports and thereby increase the quantity of goods and services demanded. Conversely, when the price level rises and causes the interest rate to rise, the real value of the dollar increases, and this appreciation reduces net exports and the quantity of goods and services demanded. Now let's move to chapter 34, the influence of monetary and fiscal policies on aggregate demand. Question 1 and question for review. What is the theory of liquidity preference? How does it help explain the downward slope of the aggregate demand curve? According to the textbook page 739, the theory of liquidity preference explains the factors that determine an economy's interest rate. The theory is, in a sense, an application of supply and demand.
Hello everyone, my name is Tan and now I'll be continuing our group presentation. So chapter 33, aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Firstly, we'll answer the question 2 from problem and applications. Explain whether each of the following events will increase, decrease, or have no effect on long-run aggregate supply. Firstly, A, the United States experiences a wave of immigration. So it will increase long-run aggregate supply. A wave of immigration increases full employment labor. As a result, aggregate supply increases. Moving to B, Congress raises the minimum wage to $15 per hour. So no change in long-run aggregate supply. The labor employment in long run remains unchanged. As a result, long-run aggregate supply remains unchanged. C, Intel invents a new and more powerful computer chip. This will increase long-run aggregate supply. At full employment level, more output can be produced with the same amount of labor. Lastly, D, a severe hurricane damages factories along the East Coast. This will get no change in long-run Aggregate. A severe hurricane is shock for short-run production, but not for the long run. Moving to question 4, problems and applications. In 1939, with the U.S. economy not yet fully recovered from the Great Depression, President Roosevelt proclaimed that Thanksgiving would fall a week earlier than usual so that the shopping period before Christmas would be longer. Explain what President Roosevelt might have been trying to achieve using the model of aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So during the Great Depression, equilibrium output was lower than the natural level of output. The idea of lengthening the shopping period between Thanksgiving and Christmas was to increase aggregate demand. The increase in aggregate demand, the president hoped, could increase output back to its long-run equilibrium level. Thank you for listening. Now I'll pass to our next speaker.
It helps explain the downward slope of aggregate demand curve because number one, a higher price level increase money demand, as we discussed in the previous chapter. 2. Higher demand leads to higher interest rates, as you can see here in the graph. And 3. A higher interest rate reduce the quantity of goods and service demanded.
So now we're coming to question 1, problem and application. Explain how each of the following developments would affect the supply of money, the demand of money, and the interest rate, and illustrate your answers with diagrams. So for the first case, the Fed's bond traders buy bonds in open market operations. So as you can see in the figure, the money supply curve will shift to the right, like it will shift from MS1 to MS2 as you can see in figure 1, and this will result in a decline in the interest rates. B. An increase in credit card availabilities reduces the amounts of cash people want to hold. So when an increase in credit card availabilities reduce the amount of cash that people want to hold, it will shift the money demand curve to the left. It will shift from MD1 to MD2, and as you can see that the result is a decline in the interest rates. C. The Federal Reserve reduces bank reserve requirement, and it will increase the money supplies. So that's mean the money supply will shift from MS1 to MS2, as you can see, just like the first case, and this will result in a decline in the interest rates. D. Households decide to hold more money to use for holiday shopping. So as you can see in the diagram, when households decide to hold more money to use for holiday shopping, the money demand curve will shift to the right. It will shift from MD1 to MD2, and it will result in a rise in the interest rates. E. A wave of optimism boosts business investment and expands aggregate demand. So when a wave of optimism boosts business investment and expands aggregate demand, the money demand will increases from MD1 to MD2, just like in the figure, and the increase in the money demand will increase the interest rate. Question 4, problem and applications. Consider two policies, a tax cut that will last for only 1 year and a tax cut that is expected to be permanent. Which policy will stimulate greater spending by consumers, and which policy will have the greater impacts on aggregate demands, and explain why. So for the permanent tax cut, through consumer eyes, they think that this policy is adding largely to their financial resources, and this will result in the increase in their spending largely, why for the temporary tax cuts, consumers saying that they add just a little to their financial resources, and so their spending will be increased lower. So, which mean that the permanent tax policies will both stimulate consumer spending and it also have greater impacts on aggregate aggregate demand. That is the end. Thanks for watching our video.